Does your partner make you feel like your interests are lame or dumb?
Ooh, let's untangle that.
Today, we're diving into tips to effectively introduce your fandoms and interests to people that you like, because you want to invite them to join in on the fun.
Yeah, sharing your hobbies and passions can deepen your connections, but maybe you found it hard or difficult to get them into the things that you love. But guess what? You're not alone.
Exactly. Like, I used to feel sad when I tried to get loved ones into the things that I was interested in. And, I would be really upset. But I wasn't perfect either because I was dismissing other people's fandoms and really only focusing on what I liked. But over time, I learned that, like, sharing isn't about convincing, it's about, creating those opportunities for connection and operating with mutual respect.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that mutual respect is the golden rule.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing that's going to make all of this work. It's foundational for making any of these tips that we're going to share today effective, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
so we are going to be sharing 8 top tips for sharing your fandoms and your interests and hobbies with the people that you love, with your person.
So, tip number one, start small. Okay. Invite them to engage with your fandom in a bite sized way.
For instance, if you're a diehard anime fan and they've never watched a single episode, maybe skip One Piece, right? And start with a movie like Spirited Away.
Right. Or if you love Disney, like pick a classic that has general appeal, like The Lion King or a more recent classic, what I would call it, Encanto. That bite sized interaction might just be just enough to pique their interest.
Yeah, I remember when we first got started and you were trying to like introduce me to stuff. He would try to make me sit down and watch like multiple episodes of these like long things, and I was just like, my eyes glazed over. I was like, I can't, I cannot.
It was a
So
process. It was a process,
yeah,
which I think it just you weren't interested in it, and I think that like really like goes into tip two, which is make it about them. Okay, find connections within your fandom that has something to do with things that they're interested in. For example, if you are engaging with a person that loves cooking, maybe find an anime like Food Wars or another cooking, thing anime. Or if you love sports, like there's iShield 2021, there's Haiyu. Like there's a bunch of different genres of, within the fandoms that you like that you should be able to find a connection with someone.
yeah. Like if you're a Disney fan
Right?
and that person you talked about cooking, right?
Yeah.
If they like cooking, maybe try introducing them to Ratatouille. It could
True.
be the perfect fit. You never know.
Little chef, or if
Yeah.
they're a gamer, Kingdom Hearts, which is a lot like this podcast. So, I think that takes us to number three. All right, our third tip: invite them to an experience. Like bringing someone into the fandom can really spark their interest. And I mean, when I say bringing someone in, I don't mean just sitting in watching television. I mean, like take them somewhere, take them to a movie, take them to a convention, take them to the comic book store or the library so that you can share with them, or they can discover it on their own, right?
Yeah, like if your favorite band is performing nearby, invite your friend to come along. Pay for the ticket so that they don't have to come out of pocket if you can, and bring them along with you. Let them ride along.
Agreed. Like, do you remember our first convention?
I do. I do remember our first convention. We've done a lot of them, but some of the most notable ones that I can remember are C2E2.
Loved it.
Yes, C2E2 was a great one. We've gone to Indie Pop.
Yep.
There's a lot of them.
The Cincinnati Comic Expo.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
and that was like one of the coolest times, and we'll talk about that in another episode. Just kind of like why that was such a big deal when we went to the Cincinnati Expo. Well, I want to talk about that.
Yeah, and it did make a difference. It allowed me to see him in a different light and to see other people that were loving the same things that he loved, even if I did not love them the same way or to the same level that they did. But I appreciated it a lot more to kind of see it in action.
Agreed. And she showed, but she showed openness, and I think that was helpful. But I think I had to show what is tip four: patience. You have to be patient. Remember, nobody connects with things instantly or as fast as you do, right?
Yeah, you have to give them time to develop their own opinions, their
Mm-hmm.
own thoughts, and you cannot pressure them into liking something, right? You can't pressure people.
Agreed. Like Erica alluded to it earlier. I really tried to get her into to Naruto, and I remember I almost lost her in those first 25 episodes, but and I
was
kept
rough.
trying to push and push and push and push, and it's just like I don't know about this. I
I
don't
was
know
like,
about
why
this.
are they still on this bridge? Like, what is happening? Like, I, I couldn't, I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, I understand, but when I was able to find someone did a recut of the series, the rebuild, like it's like an abridged version of the series. She was able to fully like get the nuances of why I wanted her to watch this series with me, because it wasn't just
Mm.
about my inner child like running wild ninjas and pretending all that. Like no, it was just about the depth that these stories can have and how that connects to the human experience. And I just wanted to connect with her because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So the next tip is highlight the shared values, right? You want to present your interest in a way that is universal, that connects to things they already value. That goes back to our previous tip of, make it about them, but also like making it about what you know about them.
yeah. Show that you know about your person, the person that you're trying to invite. Show that you know them. So if that person cares about family or
Hmm.
maybe they're highly competitive, seek out those themes in your fandom that might resonate with them.
Agreed, agreed. Anime is one of the, again, I'm going to bring up anime because it's one of the easiest, like umbrellas to be under. There's so many different genres, so you can find something, right? Or in Erica's case, you could never go wrong with a DCOM, a Disney Channel original movie, because they typically embody all of these values,
Yep, I
right?
agree.
So Erica, what's tip 6?
Tip 6 is actually set boundaries.
Set boundaries, and that's sharing your passion, and we're reiterating, does not mean forcing it on them.
It does not.
Okay. So
Let them explore it at their own pace and in their own ways. And if they've had enough, like, back off. Back
yeah,
off.
I understand that you can get excited. They show a little bit of interest, and you're like, oh, well, here's more, here's more, here's more. Do not bombard them with an entire season of your favorite show, or you don't have to watch all of the Lord of the Rings saga with them. Okay, serve it in smaller doses, and don't overwhelm them,
Yep.
because you can lose them.
Yep.
You can lose them, and then that becomes the defining way of introducing stuff to them for them.
Yep.
That's what becomes you to them.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed. So tip 7, Erica. What's tip 7?
Make it collaborative and keep an open mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean to you?
Well, that means that you should be working together. Like you should be choosing activities or media or books, etc. Right? That pique interest for both of you, even if it wasn't your first choice.
Yeah. Take turns being the teacher and the student, right?
Yeah.
That's what it means. That's what it means to be collaborative. Find a balance between making room for both sets of interests.
Yeah. No. And you know what? It's funny that you say that because like I'm wearing this Mickey Mouse shirt and I got the mouse hat. And at one point in time, while I had an appreciation for Disney, I was not a Disney anything. Like I wasn't gonna buy a Mickey Mouse hat or a Mickey Mouse shirt. Like that was you got it. Or any friends in the past that like Disney, you got it. That's all you. And I feel like the more that Erica took the opportunities to try to find ways to like bring me into the conversation or like connect with me and things that I liked, my mind opened up more to just the possibility of like being good.
I have the perfect example of this.
Go ahead.
So on our first trip to Disney World, we talk about one of those other tips, invite your person to an experience, right?
Yeah.
So we had the obligatory first family trip to Disney World, but I knew that I wanted to plan it during a time frame when I felt like we could all enjoy it, where there was going to be low stress, where we could all enjoy it. So we planned it during Food and Wine. And Reggie is a huge food buff. He loves cooking. So I knew, or I was betting on the fact that he would enjoy going to Epcot and trying all the different foods during Food and Wine. So that was me trying to take his interests into account when we planned our trip. So I made sure that we had a day where we were all going to be well rested on that day to go to Epcot. I made sure that we had extra money in the budget so that we could eat and drink all the things that we wanted to while we were at Epcot, because I wanted him to see how wonderful and cool and and awesome Disney could be. And ultimately, I think that he ended up falling in love with Epcot, and that's now his favorite park.
Agreed. I think what she did was she opened me up to Disney being for everyone.
It is.
And not just for, Disney adults or, little kids. So,
Yeah.
I think it was cool. And I think she appreciated when I leaned into the experience. And I think that goes right into tip number 8, which is
Celebrate their effort.
exactly. Let's say that one more time.
Celebrate their effort.
Yes.
Give them applause. Like, notice the little things. Notice when they're trying, right?
Yes.
If they take even like the smallest like interest in your fandom, acknowledge it. Look for that. Look for those little nods that you're giving you, because like that means something to a person. I know when I would starting to get into Reggie's fandoms and starting to like learn more about things, I would try to make like little connections and be like, look, I'm learning. And sometimes he would roll his eyes.
Yeah.
And other times he'd be like,
I
I see you.
always
I
good.
see you.
Yeah,
That was a
wasn't
great
always
connection.
good at recognizing that effort. Like, like recognizing those small gestures, like asking questions, like, inquiry, or recalling those details that you would bring in. Like, hey, I remember I asked this, and this. And, I'm like, yeah, I'm proud, but okay. But now I'm at the point where I'm like, no, like she's really trying to engage. Like, even you look at some of the shirts that she's worn over the episodes, like that did not happen overnight. We didn't go to those conventions overnight. We didn't go to these movies and get her into My Hero Academia and X, Y, and Z overnight. Like that took time and took little moments and little victories that we had to acknowledge.
Now we've cosplayed and gone to conventions and
we
all
started
kinds
this
of stuff.
podcast, and started this podcast. So like, it's really like the world is so big and there's so many things for us to like discover and learn from each other that we really shouldn't, pigeonhole ourselves into only liking what we like or going, operating with a mindset that only thing that matters is how we feel about things. Like we have to move with mutual respect and find common ground, because ultimately, all of us will find things that we love along the way. What about you? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think all of that's great. I think that was well said. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think one, additional bonus rule that we want to give or bonus tip that we want to give is to accept that sometimes your fandoms might not be their thing.
That's true. Like
it just might not.
Sometimes what's for you is for you, but that doesn't mean that you should not try to find some things that you can both love together.
Yeah.
Right?
So, because ultimately at the end of the day, you're doing life together with whoever these people are, your person. So just do it together and try to find the gems along the way, right?
Yes, you want to tangle your fandoms.
Yeah.
You see, I said it.
You said it.
All right,
so that's how you can bridge your common interests and some tips and strategies for getting your loved ones or your friends and families to be interested in the things that you're interested in.
Yep. And so we want to know, like, let us know in the comments, what tips resonated with you? Which ones resonated with you the most? Or do you have your own message for sharing hobbies? Let us know. So until next time,
Keep embracing the fandoms you love.
see you real soon.
See you real soon.